ranked the 15th best quarterback in the NFL, according to Mike Sando's quarterback tiers. What does it mean? Is it fair? But overall, should the Cardinals even care? Also, we have some joint practices, what to expect from the Cardinals against the Broncos, and what needs to happen. We'll talk about it all next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like calluses. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome in to yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. A little bit earlier of edition of the Ben Garcia Show, and you're going to ask, well, why is that, Ben? Well, I have a good reason for you. We've got a big guest coming on the show. I'm not sure when it's going to air. It might air tomorrow. It might air later tonight. I might put it in the holster and wait till Saturday and make that the Saturday special edition show where I bring someone on. However, Mike Sando from The Athletic, he just released his quarterback tiers, which we're going to talk about in just a second here, is going to join me for about 15 to 20 good minutes, sinking our teeth into Kyler Murray and how how the rest of the NFL feels about him being the 15th ranked quarterback in the NFL. So I'm going to do that interview with him at 7 today. I'm not sure when it will air. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But either way, exciting times here on the Ben Garcia Show. And that only happens because you guys continue to hit the like, share, subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. People notice. People come on. It's a more recognizable show than usually. And now we take down the Locked On Suns banner that I used last night. We kick it off with Locked On. We kick it off with the Ben Garcia Show. So with that being said, Kyler Murray a couple of days ago, it's so frustrating when that happens. The other day when I was heading to work, the tiers for Mike Sando dropped, and immediately I was like, oh man, I really want to be one of the first guys on that. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case, but I got to tell you, the quarterback tiers are the essential Bible for me when it comes to all things NFL quarterbacks. And on Monday, the rankings were released as I fixed this up for you guys in the literal grand scheme right in front of you, because I didn't realize I needed to put this on here because I was just not being smart about it. But the 2025 quarterback tiers were released on Monday morning. And as you can see, Kyler Murray was ranked 15th on the top quarterbacks in the NFL, finishing in the third tier. However, the best quarterback in the third tier. And this essentially means that Kyler Murray needs a whole lot of help for them to win a Super Bowl. But you look at some of the quarterbacks ahead of him: Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, who I feel like is kind of low on this list. And you say to yourself, well, as much as I think Kyler Murray is better at his best than Brock Purdy's been to a couple of Super Bowls. Jordan Love has won a playoff game. Dak Prescott, although it feels like forever ago, has won a playoff game. Kyler Murray at the 15th ranked position in the quarterback tiers list, according to Mike Sando and The Athletic, being the first quarterback in the third tier of everything. I thought it was very fair. Here's the caveat. Kyler Murray being ranked 15th on the Athletics quarterback tiers and the first quarterback in the third tier feels very fair to me. Kyler Murray, I often say, is the most interesting player in the NFL because at times you get MVP level Kyler Murray. And honestly, consistently for stretches, you'll get MVP level Kyler Murray. But as I mentioned on Monday's show, where I felt like I was the only one saying that the interception that Kyler Murray threw on Saturday was really bad. To be completely honest with you, that's the epitome of Kyler Murray. The highs are so high and the lows are very low. So when you look at the list, what's the argument for Kyler should be higher? And I see my guy in the chat, Chill Peasy, if Kyler Murray was 6'1" or was 6'6", he'd be 7th. Agreed. This isn't a Ben Garcia show talking about the Chargers, but if you want my quick little rant there, no one has been given more leeway for doing less in the NFL than Justin Herbert. But that's neither here nor there. Kyler Murray hasn't been to a playoff game since 2021, the COVID year. Kyler Murray hasn't won a playoff game in his career. And you could blame that on the epitome that was the dumpster fire of Cliff Kingsbury's head coaching tenure, or the fact that Steve Keim was just not a very good general manager. And now he finally has stability, but still no playoff appearances in this new regime. It's time for the excuses to be put aside for Kyler. And we all have to come in agreement. This is a make or break year. The good thing about Kyler being ranked 15th and being the first quarterback in the third tier, it tells you something we already knew. For the Cardinals to win a Super Bowl, they need a lot around them, or they need a lot around Kyler Murray to make ends meet. And it's not impossible. Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, both quarterbacks that are not very far ahead of Kyler, Brock Purdy just one spot ahead of Kyler, have been to the Super Bowl. So it's not doom and gloom the way GMs and assistant GMs and, people who voted on this poll feel, because Kyler's not that far away from being a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And the excuses are just out the window now. Here's the good thing. With a solid season, because of the physical traits of Kyler, if he can just lift those valleys up from being so incredibly low like we know they can be, and become just a little bit more consistent, he's going to easily jump in the top 10. The question should not be, Kyler Murray at face value, who's the better quarterback? It should be, at their highest of highs, who's the better quarterback? And Kyler Murray at the highest of highs can be a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. We just know that that's not sustainable, and we know that that is not going to be a consistent trait. It's all about keeping the valleys for Kyler Murray that are so incredibly low and bringing them up even just a hair. That will change everything in the Cardinals season. And as much as someone like myself wants to continue to, dig into Kyler and agree with the polling, I've said all I'm gonna say on Kyler. At this point, you guys know how I feel. He's a solid quarterback. There are a lot other worse options. But as of right now, he has not earned the right to be named a top 15 quarterback. I fought tooth and nail last year. Kyler Murray was going to be a top 8 quarterback in the NFL by the end of last season. And all the way up until week 11, week 12, whenever their bye week hit, he spat in my face, made me look like a fool, and made a lot of other people look like a fool. We blamed Drew Petzing. We blamed the weapons at times, when in reality, Kyler Murray just needs to look in the mirror. He is no longer seen as one of the better players at the quarterback position. And he's no longer deemed as the young up-and-coming quarterback. He is someone that has lost his way a little bit in the NFL. And there's only one way to get it back: win games. So with that being said, there is a chance for Kyler Murray to get past all the criticism. And if he just has a solid year, we're talking about him jumping Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, I think maybe even Jalen Hurts, because we know what's in there. It's all about, can Kyler Murray be consistent? I'm not breaking any more news to you. This is what it is now. And you should not be surprised when you see these. When you see that he's just above Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, Bo Nix. Guys, to be completely honest with you, you could make an argument he's not there either. I wouldn't agree with you. I would take Kyler Murray over these other 5 quarterbacks. But outside of Aaron Rodgers, which I didn't mean to name, I would not put Aaron Rodgers ahead of Kyler Murray. I don't even think there's an argument at this point for Aaron over Kyler. But Tua's been to the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game. Geno Smith went to the playoffs. Bo Nix has been to the playoffs, all more recently than Kyler, or has won a playoff game. So, I mean, this just puts him ahead of Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins, where Kyler just has to finally put it together. Now, where do I think Kyler will be next season at this time? I think it's pretty clear that the Cardinals are going to have a good season. And that Kyler Murray, I believe, is going to have one of the most solid seasons of his NFL tenure. So that's the question. We knew Kyler was going to be somewhere in the middle of the pack when these tiers came out. However, what's more interesting now is, where will Kyler Murray be next year? I believe because the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs this year. And I think there's a chance they're a very scary playoff contender. Some do not like it, but I think this is a conference championship level team. Maybe not winning it, but getting there. I think Kyler Murray is firmly in the top 10 of quarterbacks next year in this quarterback tiers list. Because I think this team has way too high of a floor for Kyler Murray to ruin it all on his own. I think just like any Kyler Murray year, he's going to have some real highs and some real lows, but he's never had the support like he will have this year to help keep him afloat. And so, because I believe the weapons are better, because I believe continuity matters, because the defense is better, I believe Kyler Murray next year will be a top 10, but if I had to guess, the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. GMs and coaches and assistant GMs and people that go off this list and vote off this list are looking for a reason to believe in Kyler. And I believe not only is he going to give it to him this year, but even in the moments where he isn't the best quarterback on the field, he has a team around him that can help elevate what he is. Similar to Jalen Hurts, similar to Brock Purdy. So this year, he might not be this year he's not a top 10 guy. But it depends how much he wins this year. And I do believe Kyler Murray is going to win more games this year than he did last year. They'll be a playoff team. And because of that, GMs will then start to believe in him and then firmly move him into the tier 2 of quarterbacks where they need help to win a Super Bowl, but not as much as a tier 3 quarterback does, like he currently resides. Okay, I also wanted to talk about the Cardinals joint practices, as you guys know as well. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm having Mike Sando on to talk about his quarterback tiers list regarding Kyler Murray, and be able to sink our teeth into that at 7. He's the one that comes out with these quarterback tiers lists. I'm going to have him on the show in about 9 minutes here. So I'll wrap up here quickly, and then I'll air that. I'm not really sure when. But as my guy Chill Peasy in the chat, 12-5 division champs, rooting for it, man. I'll tell you what, Matthew Stafford, that injury is starting to get concerning. Anyways, what do we got to see from the Cardinals in their joint practices versus the Broncos? So the NFL now is turning towards 1 or 2 joint practices, really just 1, because coaches don't want to show you everything, but they still want to get their teams ready to play in the regular season. Andy Reid doesn't do these joint practices. Just doesn't do them. He has no interest in letting another team see anything that they have. But I do believe joint practices mean at least something. I do wish, like the olden days, they would practice against each other for 2-3 days at a time, but that's not what we're going to get. What's going to be more important is this joint practice than a preseason game. This Denver defense is pretty good. If reports come out that Kyler Murray throws 2, 3, 4 interceptions, that's something that's going to clearly alarm you and go directly off of, well, he threw that really bad interception against the Chiefs. Is it truly same old Kyler Murray? That is just the unfortunate scenario. Now, if it comes out, the Cardinals light up the defense of the Broncos like the Niners couldn't do, then it's, again, more affirmation and confidence that you can give this offense. But I think what is more interesting is how can Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rawlis and this new look defense give Bo Nix hell? I mean, make Bo Nix pay for being a young guy. He's seen 1 year of NFL snaps. And yeah, he's got a lot of snaps under him in college. Came out as a senior. He's already 25 years old. But can you make him look lost? Can you design blitzes and design packages that he has no idea what is coming? Circa, 2016, 2015, when Sam Darnold's on Monday Night Football literally seeing ghosts. So, if you're looking for things to see in training camp today, in joint practices tomorrow, it's really all about two things. Does Kyler look sharp? Is he hitting guys open? Is Marvin Harrison Jr. having a hard time going up against Pat Surtain? And then defensively, make Bo Nix look like a second-year quarterback. The Cardinals play a lot of young, up-and-coming quarterbacks in their first few weeks of the season. It's a lot of Cam Wards and I don't know why I'm blanking on the quarterbacks, but I know it's a Sam Darnold, Cardinals, NFL schedule. I don't know why I don't have this on me, but I should have. Yes, so you got Tyler Shuck, who's a second or first year guy. Bryce Young, who I believe is a third year guy. Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Cam Ward, Anthony Richardson. So in the first 6 weeks, you got Tyler Shuck, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Anthony Richardson. Can your defense make those guys look like young quarterbacks? And Bo Nix, being 25, an older rookie from last year, can you make him look lost? And if you can, that's what you're hoping for from Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rawlis. And same as well goes for, I glossed over this really quickly, but we're expecting Marvin Harrison Jr. to have a big year. This offense goes from, I believe, 9-8 to 12-5 overnight if Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome. Because then you're talking about the Cardinals having their own Jamar Chase and T. Higgins-esque level wide receivers in terms of pass catchers. I guess, obviously, Trey McBride's not a tight end. But Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., if those two guys are humming this year, the Cardinals are going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. If both guys have 1,000 yards, you're talking about them being one of the better offenses in the NFL. And the Broncos secondary is nothing to sneeze at. Patrick Surtain, they have the rookie out of Texas whose name is escaping me right now. Can Marvin Harrison Jr. make those guys look like marginal corners? If we get reports out of that joint practice that Marvin Harrison Jr. looks awesome dunking on guys, then just a really good place for Marvin Harrison Jr. to be going into the season. Because although I'm starting to buy into the hype that he's going to be awesome this year, truly, I mean absolutely truly, I need to see more evidence for that. And if we can see that for Marv against Pat Surtain this week, then I'm really bought in. So with that being said, guys, I got to head over to an interview with Mike Sando, the architect of the quarterback tiers list. That video, which will be a deep dive on Kyler Murray and Kyler Murray alone, and maybe a little bit of predictions of the Cardinals this season, will be out I'm not sure if we're thinking tonight or tomorrow, but sometime this week. So keep an eye out for that. I'll make an announcement for that. And yeah, so with that being said, guys, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the stream. We are back on Friday on the normally scheduled time, 7 a.m. And I will see you guys then.